Hi everyone, my name is Jamie with Two-A-Days, and here with me today is Sarah Thomas. Sarah Thomas made history in women's sports when she became a referee for football. She's been doing so for quite a while now, but she kind of made a breakthrough when she was the first female to be offered a full-time job with the NFL and was also the first female to officiate a Super Bowl game. So we're super excited to have her here and to kind of talk about how she got to where she is today. Thanks for being here, Sarah.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So first, I think this is the question everyone wants to know the answer to. Why did you choose this career path and how did you get to this point?
I just have to be honest with you. I don't know that I chose it. I grew up in a family, an older brother, younger brother, extended family. If it was sports related, we were all involved. No matter what season it was, we were watching whatever was on the TV. And so after I played college basketball and I got out of that, I was playing in a men's church league with my brother. And after 3 years of playing in that league, I was voted out. And so I guess a couple of months after me being voted out of that, I talked to my brother and I said, "Hey, what are you doing this evening?" And he said he was going to a football officials meeting. And like I would always ask him, "Hey, can girls do that?" And he just said, "Sure, sis, meet me at, 6 o'clock, don't be late." So I went to my very first football officials meeting, not having any idea that there weren't women involved. And once we started something as kids, our parents just always enforce, once you start something, you don't quit. So I show up at this meeting and I later learned that there weren't any women, but I fell in love with the craft. And so I just dug in. And so, yes, there was some influences of me being told, "Why don't you try basketball?" And so I did try basketball for about 3 years, but it just wasn't a challenge to me because I played basketball, but football was such a challenge for me.
So what about the challenge makes it so fun for you?
I think that we always strive as officials, just like athletes, to do our best, work a perfect game, go 4 for 4 when you're swinging the bat, don't make any errors. And in the world of officiating, we're there just to administer athletic justice and try to do our best. But there's always certain plays that we sit back and we question, and it was just so challenging. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want the focus to be on my ability to officiate. I want it to be about the guys. And so if there was a play that you question, then I go back as a professional and just go, all right, where was I, position wise, mechanically, how did I miss this? Or if there's question about a call or a no call, why is that the case? So there's just a drive. I believe it is just the mindset of someone that is in this realm of their career path, that it's just the challenge of wanting to be perfect, but knowing it won't ever happen.
That's very true. So you mentioned like what position you're at when a certain play happens. I read that your primary position is as a line judge. So for those of us who don't understand football very well, can you kind of explain that role and the other roles of officials in the game?
Sure. So in the NFL, we work 7 on-field officials and 2 officials are in the replay booth. And as far as line judge or down judge, we are considered the line of scrimmage officials.
Okay.
And we are responsible for all your basic penalties that could happen at the line of scrimmage, making sure both defense and offense lines are set, and the requirements that are established, that we are making sure that they are all legal. And then once the ball is snapped, it really depends on the formation of where our focus is. And then you have a referee. He is considered the crew chief, or a lot of people like to identify that official as the white hat. He is the only one on the crew that wears the white hat. And he is truly focused on a lot of areas of responsibility, but the quarterback. You have the umpire that is now in the offensive backfield with him, and he too has a lot of pre-snap responsibilities, but once the play develops, he transitions to his area of responsibility. And then we have 3 deep wing officials. You have a back judge, and then what's truly considered deep wings are a side judge or a field judge. And they are, keying on receivers and defenders. And then once the play develops again, then their focus of their area of responsibility will transition. And then replay is there for just replay.
Okay, thank you. I think that clarifies a lot of things. Okay, so my next question, you talk about the challenge and always wanting to play as close to a perfect game as you can. What do you think is your proudest moment of your career? And it can be either in terms of one call that you made in a game or one specific game you're really proud of, or one big stepping stone in the career.
I will tell you probably one most memorable games that I've had in my career. I know a lot of people would probably say the Super Bowl, but it was really back in my rookie year, and it was my first Monday Night Football game. And it was like the reality had set in that I am standing on this pylon and I hear the theme music from Monday Night Football blaring in the stadium. And I just went, I am not at home on my couch. And I'm here and I love being here. And then I thought to myself, don't get hit and just do not blow a call. And the last play of the game came down to me ruling a touchdown. And I just reflect back on that game and that moment, because if I didn't rule it correctly, what would the impact have been for so many young girls or individuals that were trying or thinking that they could do something? Because if it had gone the opposite way, it would probably have been in the headlines. She doesn't belong. What is she doing out there? But I'm so fortunate that it was the correct call, and just the positive news feeds and everything just made a more positive impact on moving forward for others that are trying to break through in something that's just not the norm.
That's really awesome. So as a side question, you said your one goal was to not get hit and to not mess up. Have you ever been hit in a game?
Yes, I have. It was Christmas Eve, 2016, and the Green Bay Packers were hosting the Minnesota Vikings, and it was late in the game, and I don't know what happened. I should have taken a few more steps back, but there was a busted play, and I got trucked by not just one player, but 2. And I knew there was something wrong with my wrist. And so they take me back and they x-ray my wrist and they tell me that it was broken. When I look up at the TV in the training room, I see that the game is still going on. And there's like 4 minutes left. And so I looked at the doctor and I said, put this splint on, I'm going back in this game. So I went back in the game. I finished the game with a broken wrist. I have a plate and 7 screws here and a pin here. But it's crazy. My phone blew up, and of course I called my kids and they kind of made a joke about it. They went, oh, Mom, are you okay? And I said, yes, I just have a broken wrist. And they go, well, you do know that you got run over by Rudolph on Christmas Eve, because it was Kyle Rudolph and a defender for the Packers that ran me over. But yeah, and a lot of people ask me, why did you feel the need to go back in? And it's just, I belonged out there. It wasn't to prove anybody wrong. It was just, I wanted to be out there. I wanted to finish the game. I was perfectly fine to go and finish the game. And so my love of my craft and being with my crew and finish the game is what I wanted to do.
That's really awesome. When I first read that story, I was like, that's crazy, but I can see now why you kept doing it. Okay, so my next question, you've talked about your most impactful game that you've officiated, but that was during your rookie years, and you've kept on climbing up. You've surpassed so many milestones that so many women even men would be afraid to overcome. So what's kind of inspired you to keep climbing that ladder and get to the level that you're at now?
I'm going to tell you, I'm very thankful for my upbringing, and not that my upbringing is any better or whatever. It's just, I'm so thankful for my parents that never allowed us to quit. But through this journey, I've met so many people that their drive to not quit comes from a different walk of life. And it's just truly just a drive that I have in me. And I've also learned that if you're not the person, the one that is motivating yourself, I just strongly encourage you to check yourself at the door. There are so many things in our life that will encourage us, or, oh, I can't let them down. But at the end of the day, if you are trying to fulfill someone else's requirements of you, or what you think that they want from you, you're going to fail them. But if you're the one that is truly motivating yourself, then you find a reason to keep going.
That's really awesome. So what do you think, you've talked about this a little bit already, but what do you think your career represents and communicates to other young women trying to make their way in sports?
I'm going to tell you, I love this question. And I just reflect back on that. If it is something that you fall in love with, and you really didn't believe that it would be something that you would, if you're doing it for the right reasons and you fall in love with it, don't let your gender hold you back whatsoever. I mean, women run households, they run corporations, and just because it's not the norm that no other woman has done it, doesn't mean that you're not capable of doing it. But if you are setting out to be recognized as a first, I'm just telling you, then don't do it. When people see your passion and your work ethic and your drive because you love what you're doing, the recognition will come. And you just have to fall in love with it. But do not ever let race, gender, or anything, because it wasn't the norm, hold you back.
Mm-hmm. That's a great answer. So going off of that answer, what have you faced challenges and adversities that other people have thrown towards you because you were a woman trying to just follow your passion?
I'm certain that I have faced it. And I mean, yes, I have. I mean, the blanket answer is yes, I have. But the one thing I believe a mindset has to be is that I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I don't think, oh, they're only doing this because I'm a woman. I'm comfortable in my own skin. Yes, are there moments where I have second guessed, okay, what am I doing? Or am I equipped to do this? But I have just learned that we need to stop having that mindset. And if someone is being, they're discriminated against you because of your skin color or your gender, they are the ones that have truly been given a privilege, and they are the ones who are uncomfortable with it. Instead, when someone walks into a new company or someone walks into a new group and they're there for the right reasons, pull them forward, help them. So I just don't have a chip on my shoulder. I don't try to say, oh, they're doing this because I'm a woman. There have been moments where I have said, all right, this could be because I'm a woman, but I don't hold a grudge. I don't let that hold me back. It's truly them that have the insecurity and they're uncomfortable. When you realize I'm here for the same reasons you are, that all kind of just takes care of itself.
Okay, thank you for that answer. That was really great. So I think everything else I had planned to ask, you've answered along the way. But I had one more question I wanted to ask you. So I read that you had 5 varsity letters in one sport throughout high school, and I cannot stop wondering how you accomplished that.
So, it's crazy when I saw that question. I was the first athlete to letter 5 times in a varsity sport in the state of Mississippi. So how this happened was they offered underclassmen, your 8th, 7th grade, I think 8th at the time was the lowest class that they would allow to try out for varsity softball. So I remember going to my mom, and of course I'm 13, I believe, and the legal drinking age was 18. So I was going to be around 18-year-olds. And my mother says to me, she goes, when you came to me and said you were going to try out, she said, go ahead. She said, never in a million dreams did I think you would make the team. And I surely didn't think you would start, so you would be hanging out with all of these juniors and seniors. So I made the team, and it's not that she didn't have the faith in me and my ability. She just truly thought that maybe somebody was just offering up, but no underclassmen would ever make it. So I started varsity softball when I was in 8th grade, and I varsited every year from that point on. I loved the game of softball. Like I said, my son is playing baseball tonight, and half the team was just here, and it's such a strategic game, and I just loved it. But what paid my education was basketball. So that is how I lettered 5 years in a varsity sport.
That's really cool. I'm from Oregon, and I don't think you could do that here. So when I saw that, I couldn't stop wondering how you've done that. Okay, well, those are all the questions I have for you. Do you have anything else you want to add? Any parting bits of advice?
No, I would just strongly encourage all of your listeners, and you as well, just find something that you have a passion for. And there are going to be so many times in your life that you're going to encounter what a lot of people would say are roadblocks. And don't look at them as roadblocks. Instead of them being roadblocks, look at them as speed bumps. And the quicker you get over the speed bump, the faster it will be in your rearview mirror. And the rearview mirror is this big. And if you're only focused on that one thing, it's behind you. But your windshield is so much bigger than your rearview mirror. And there's so many more opportunities you can grow and learn from. Some of my I would say, worst failures, or my failures, have really turned into my greatest successes. So take failure as feedback. Pressure is a privilege. Have the mindset that nothing will hold you back, but do your work. Competence equals confidence, and just continue to always strive for perfection, knowing you won't accomplish it, but don't let anything stand in your way.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that super good advice. I think that's a perfect place for us to end.